So this is a video for 3 TVWO. It's about chapter 7, numbers and variables, and I am going to discuss exercise 43. Exercise A. I wrote, you always have to copy the exercise first, and I copied it all here as a preparation. But for you, I recommend first copy the exercise, then do it, and then wait until you see how much space you need before you write down the next one. All right, now 7p in brackets squared. The squared is outside of the brackets. It means you have to do this one squared and this one squared. 7 squared, there's a times in between, p squared. I can calculate 7 squared. I know that's 49, and p squared is just p squared. This is done. Let's do this one. 4 by the power of 3, 4 by the power of 3 times x by the power of 3. 4 by the power of 3 means 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 again is 64, x by the power of 3. Done. Okay, this one is 2 by the power of 5, 2 by the power of 5, times a by the power of 5, times b times by the power of 5 is 2 by the power of 5 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. All right. So don't get confused here. Maybe you have to use your fingers for this. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8, times 2 again is 16, times 2 again is 32. Unfortunately, you can't use your calculator here because in this chapter you're not allowed to use a calculator. All right, and then a by the power of 5 and b by the power of 5. Okay, next. Okay, so this one, 3 divided by x by the power of 2. You have to do 3 by the power of 2 divided by x by the power of 2. 3 by the power of 2 is 3 times 3, which is 9. And this is x squared. This is done. This one, 3 by the power of 3, which is that's a by the power of 2 by the power of 3 again. So a by the power of 2 by the power of 3 again. Okay, and then I'm going to calculate it here. First, I'm going to calculate 3 by the power of 3, which is 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 again is 27. A by the power of 2 by the power of 3. When you see this, when there's a bracket in between, you have to do them times each other. Okay, that is a by the power of 6. And this is just b by the power of 3. Use alphabetic order here, okay? Okay, good, this is done. Let's have a look at this one. Minus 9 by the power of 2. There's a negative number, and here are brackets. It means that you have to do brackets here as well. That's different than minus 9 by the power of 2 without brackets. So make sure you have brackets here. X squared, and then y by the power of 4 by the power of 2. Okay, let's work it out. Minus 9 squared is minus 9 times minus 9 is a positive 81. X squared is just x squared. Y by the power of 4 by the power of 2, again, exponents times each other here. So that's y by the power of 8. And this is done. Let's have a look at this one. It's minus 10 by the power of 5. Minus 10 by the power of 5. Also this one by the power of 5 and also this one by the power of 5. So let me work it out. By the power of 5 and q by the power of 3 by the power of 5. Minus 10 times minus 10 times minus 10 times minus 10 times minus 10. This is an odd number. A negative number with an odd exponent means that the answer will be positive or negative? Negative. So it's negative. 10 times 10 is 100. Times 10 again. Times 10 again. Times 10 again. So it's minus 100,000. Let me move this a little bit. Then you get p by the power of 12 by the power of 5. So that's p by the power of 60. And q by the power of 3 times 5 is 15. This is done. And then the last one It's minus 2, again, brackets, it's very important. And then a by the power of 2 by the power of 3. You see, so there are big brackets here. I just made them small brackets. And now I'm going to work it out. Minus 2 by the power of 3 means minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2. Again, this exponent is odd. So the answer will be negative. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 again is 8, minus 8. A by the power of, yes, 6. And this is it. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. Now I'm going to discuss exercise 51. Alright, I'm going to discuss exercise 51 from chapter 7. In exercise 51 it says, write with one square root. First exercise is square root 5a times square root 6b. When you do two square roots times each other, you just simply do everything in this square root times everything in this square root. So 5 times 6 is 30, and AB is just AB. I always finish the square root, because then I'm absolutely sure that I mean that everything written here is underneath the square root. Sometimes you have a situation that you write down something here which doesn't belong to a square root. So it's important to finish it. Now this one is a little bit the same, so that's 7 times 2 is 14, and x times y is xy, and I finish the square root here. This one divided by, so both square roots, you just do 25 divided by 5. I know that is 5. And PQ divided by P. I can divide this one by P and I can divide this one by P. So the leftover is Q. So it's square root 5Q. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Again, both square roots. So I'm going to do 18 divided by 3, which is 6. A squared divided by A is A. And b by the power of 3 divided by b by the power of 2. When you do this, you do the exponents minus each other, remember? So what did I do here? 2 minus 1. So that's why it's a by the power of 1. And what do I do here? 3 minus 2. That's b by the power of 1. Of course, you don't have to write down the little ones here, okay? And finish the square root. 6ab. Okay, this one is different from the other ones, because now there's a normal number written before the square root. And now the other ones, it was just the square roots. Now what do you have to do here? You still have to write it with one square root. This is on the outside of the square root. We don't want that. It has to be in the square root. Now, luckily I know what 2 squared is. It's 4, which means square root 4 is the same as 2, isn't it? Square root 4 is the same as 2. And there's a times here. So square root 4 times square root 5. It's actually the same. This is the same as that. Now I can simplify this. You just simply do the square roots times each other. So 4 times 5 is 20. Oh, and 0, 20. So this is the same as that. 2 square root 5 is the same as square root 20. Now I'm going to do the same again. 7 has to be a square root. I know that square root 49 is 7. So square root 49 times is already a square root, so square root 3. You do them times each other. That's 147 in the square root, of course. Square root 147 is the answer. Alright, and the last two here. It's 10 square root 3p divided by 5 square root p. First I'm going to calculate it, and then I'm going to write it down as 1 square root. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And square root 3p divided by square root p is, again, there's a little 1 here and a little 1 here. So I just do 1 minus 1 is 0. That means the p is totally gone. So the only thing that you have as left over is square root 3. This is the same as this. Now I have to write it down as 1 square root. I know that 2 is actually square root 4 times square root 3. And square root 4 times square root 3 is square root 12. Can you imagine that this is exactly the same as this, but then written differently? Alright, now the last one. There are no numbers before the square roots, so it makes it a little bit easier. Because here you have to do this trick, you have to make it a square root. Now there are no normal numbers before the square roots, so I'm just going to simplify it. 65 divided by 13 is 5. P by the power of 3 divided by p by the power of 2. Again, exponents minus each other. 3 minus 2 is 1, so p by the power of 1. Q by the power of 2 divided by q by the power of 2. 2 minus 2 is 0, so the q is gone. Don't forget, there was a square root. There still is a square root, so it's square root 5p. Can you imagine that this big thing over here is actually just square root 5p? Alright, so this was it. Hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching.